Hello everyone, hope we're doing well. Welcome back to the LCS breakdown. This, of course, for being week number 7. We have 2 weeks left and the shakiness continues in League of Legends, or at least for the LCS. You know, LEC 1 week ahead. They've pretty much solidified 4 of their 6 playoff teams. We are still at 2 teams solidified here in the LCS, that of course being Liquid and Cloud9. Now this next week, week number 8, we expect TSM to join them. That leaves, though, after this next week, still 3 spots for our last week to be played out for. As of right now, from what I've seen, dare I say, I think there's 2 teams out there. You guys might be able to name them. I will name them as well. Echo Fox and 100Throws. I'm borderline considering them out of contention, but besides those 2 teams, we actually have pretty much the rest of the other remaining 5 teams in contention for these last probably 3 to 4 spots. Assuming that TSM gets it, there will be 3 spots left for those 5 teams, all within a game or 2 of each other, and some crazy things have been happening. Like I said previously, the shakiness does continue. There have been many 0-2 and 1-1 weekends for teams out there. I think Liquid this past weekend solidified themselves as our clear-cut favorite, taking down Cloud9, but the race after them certainly continues, and it's going to be a crazy last 2 weeks here as we slowly solidify our top 6 and our playoff teams. But as always, let's break it down, guys. The awards will be timestamped down below if you want to jump around. There's going to be a bit of a different segment out there. Usually I do plays of the week. This week I actually did plays of the week and not so plays of the week. We had more embarrassing moments, I think, than actual promising moments here in NALCS, but let's break it down. First of all, MVPs of the week. And there's really no doubt in my mind, if you guys have watched the show in the past for the past 6 weeks, I never really choose Cloud9, TSM, or Liquid players, mainly Liquid or Cloud9, because they've been so far and away. They're the obvious MVPs, right? But this past weekend, I just didn't see too much good stuff, too much promising stuff, over the top stuff from other teams out there. Jensen and Doublelift, I think Sneaky had his moments as well. Don't cut me short. I cannot name every player on both these teams, Cloud9 and Liquid. So Sneaky, a notable mention, but I think Jensen and Doublelift stole the role this past weekend. It was a deathless week for Jensen, a 1 death week for Doublelift, and their synergy, these 2 guys, especially when it goes to a mid to late game, it's amazing to see what they tactically can do. I'll show you guys in plays of the week what they did against a few of the teams out there, but they are certainly my 2 notable MVPs, and a notable mention as well, my 3rd MVP will be Demonte. I think alongside him, maybe a Piglet. I think Piglet had at least 1 stellar game on his Aurelia. No big shock there, but Demonte has proven himself time and time again the constant crutch of this team, and I mean that in a very good way. He is just certainly the most powerful player on this team and the most promising player as well. A very stellar weekend out of him as he keeps them in the race. Yes, they split a 1-1 weekend, and if teams do not ban Aurelia for Piglet, this team, in my opinion, has a very, very small chance, but still a chance at making playoffs. Also bouncing off our MVPs, though, of course, our teams of the week. And this is going to be very simple. Again, I never typically choose our best teams because I want to talk about other teams out there besides the teams you know are the best, but this week had to be Liquid. The only 2-0 team that I really was impressed by. I couldn't choose Cloud9 because Team Liquid took a game off Cloud9. Cloud9 split 1-1. I couldn't choose TSM because both their games were about as shaky as possible. Yes, TSM, they take the 2-0. Good for them. I'm really proud of them. You know, I think they still show a lot of promise. 2 very late games, 2 very shaky games, and 2 games I thought they certainly could have lost. And I was going to choose FlyQuest, but they beat 2 of our arguably worst teams in the league right now, that being Clutch and that being Echo Fox. So maybe I would say FlyQuest, but Team Liquid certainly, to me this past weekend, proved themselves as the sheer cut #1 by far and away North American team, even over a team like Cloud9. I don't think the matchup was pretty much close at all, right? We'll talk about that in a second. Cloud9 steal a Baron, and that kind of drags the game out. Either way, Team Liquid this past weekend really impressed me. And I guess I could say notable 4th MVP mention that I kind of skipped over, Wild Turtle. If you feed this guy, he will punish you. But let's hop into, of course, my favorite segment, that being plays of the week. And like I said before, Doublelift and Jensen. Now, this is just one play of many out there, but one play I saw, their synergy. And not only that, we already know, you know, Doublelift is a very confident man, but together, Jensen and Doublelift, when they already had the lead, they're already close to solidifying a game. They have proven time and time again, they're not afraid of just going for it.
Let's just get an early start on the damage here. Coach JJ takes Smithy into the pit, and they've started up the Dragon. This is Golden Guardian's maybe last attempt at trying to save this game.
You can't give this one away. You've got to make some sort of a fight happen here. Haunts are going to be taken very low, but Jensen's already gone, like Deathly's already gone, Doublelift's already on a killing spree, and Golden Guardians lost the fight before it ever started. Jensen gets himself back over the wall with some quick feet, and Ole and Froggen head for the hills. Who needs Elder when the base is wide open like this? Doublelift shifts himself forward.
And also, what proved to me to be one of the funnest games to watch in a matchup I think was going to be, you never really know what's going to happen between teams like Golden Guardians and CLG. This ending was absolutely insane.
Used to do Contract still in the front line. Redemption's fly as well. Going for the fight now on the 4v4 as Kenembers rise in the bottom lane on top of this one. That could end the game by itself. They're a shot outside the pit. The revive on a Contract. And Ole stuck inside the pit as well. They're going for movement. He's got the stopwatch. He's got the stone plate. He's buying a lot of time. And here comes the teleport. Going to end the game. And Kennen's going to try his damnedest to knock down Darshan. But a big shot comes through. Draven finally catches it. Here comes LeBlanc. They've got Otto in as well. And he's gone. Darshan can't do enough damage. He will finally die. That Nexus will not fall. But the kills have gone to Golden Guardians. But the Golden Guardians are now on the opposing Nexus turret freak. They're going for the end themselves. Inhibitor respawns. They have to take that down first. But can they stop this TP? They do. Oh my God! It is over. And Golden Guardians retain control. They're on top of the club. And GGS are alone in 4th place.
And then we have a first time segment. So if you guys want this, now there's not going to be probably too many plays out there, but NA, it was actually pretty easy to find this past weekend. 3 not so plays. The first one being Aframu 100 Thieves. We'll talk about them in our next segment. Unfortunately enough, he was actually clocked standing in a bush for almost a minute, almost an entire minute. He was actually in this bush, and he was spotted out and one shot.
And 100 Thieves, they've got kind of the extra trump card of the Mountain Drakes, allowing them to deal with one of these objectives so quickly.
Oh, he knew Afra was there. Oh my word! Yikes. Scryer's Bloom, he didn't know it, I think.
And CLG, they had a string of, I guess you could say, not so plays this past weekend. Yes, they kind of failed that base race. I think that was kind of it was an iffy call, but maybe a call that needed to be made, so I won't diss on that too much. But this play in bot really had a lot of people questioning what they were doing.
Out of the map, no flash, but we'll have Smite and the ultimate. Gonna find a slow on Auto, damage into the turret, but he's taking aggro, gets out with the land, and that forces the teleport out Power of Evil. Now once with the realm up, they're gonna bring in the squad. Will they find the CC? No, they will not. So a TP and an ult forced.
And then very lastly, this next not so play sums up the entire 100 Thieves weekend. You know, a team that has, in the past, we've actually seen quite a few times the split fail these ganks, but this time around, they failed the first gank, they retry the same gank, then they get counter ganked, and they have the 0-3 start. It was it was sad to see.
Over on the other side, 100 Thieves stacking up those tiers. 2 different champions that are going to scale so well with time as they get to rattle off the spells and get those things stacked up. You can see someday we're going to maybe bait Huni into a fight here. He's got Onda up at the top side, ready to make something happen. Flash into the EQ, goes for the Cataclysm. Huni's still in there, doesn't have a flash available to get himself away, trying to heal up, use the tethers, use the shield, get
himself out. Someday still looking to come back in, but won't be able to do it, and 2 ults committed, a flash used, and Huni's still alive.
Yeah, and it wasn't even close. It didn't really seem like Someday and Onda were on the same page, because Onda
had locked Someday out of the Cataclysm there. And
oh, but now it's the counterattack coming in. They're going to make the gank work this time around. Huni's going to be taken low, but Someday's lower. Huni still walks himself out. Onda has no mana left to go, and they'll turn that one into an easy 2 for 0.
And then very lastly, we're actually going to skip a segment this week, that being underwhelming players. I kind of got sick of calling out players, and this week was just notable enough for an underwhelming team. I'm going to skip right to that segment, that being 100 Thieves. Time and time again, I am super curious what you guys think about this. It's only what I see. I can't see what you guys see as well. I'd love to hear your feedback down below about why, though, to me, this has been the most disappointing team this split. Not only because on this roster, just you have some heavy hitters, right? You have world players as well as you just pure experience in a team that we thought was going to be vastly improved from their last year's roster, who still made both splits some pretty solid runs. And it's been very sad to see as well a team who wins a far out majority of their early games and did so even this past weekend against 2 of our top 3 teams. Yes, you say they go 0-2 this past weekend, but they were beating both these teams, Cloud9 and TSM, in the early game, and I really thought, you know, Cloud9 could be argued, right? Cloud9 took an early lead kill-wise, a great Rift Herald defense by 100 Thieves, and it was back in their favor, and then the whole game just breaks apart, right? You have one misstep by Bang of all people, and then Sneaky sneaks in a quadra kill, and the game is pretty much over from there. TSM, though, that matchup was all the more disappointing. No surprise here, right? Someday First Blood, he has been just so stellar. I said a Bang misstep earlier. Bang has been pretty good as well, but Someday to me has been the true carry of this roster and just been a true performer as well. Although, ironically enough, at the end of this game, it's actually him, maybe a hot-headed play, but it was actually his death that eventually cost him the game altogether. But I'm not blaming the guy because his performance early on and throughout every match this split so far has been just, I would not say underwhelming. Yes, he struggled those first maybe 2 to 3 weeks, but he has really picked it up and turned it on. A First Blood in this game versus TSM, you do not expect anyone probably, but you don't expect anyone besides Someday to have a kill lead early on. It was actually Onda. He starts off a 2-0 kill start as well, a huge lead for himself, a 6K gold lead for 100 Thieves before 20 minutes against TSM, and they cannot. We see yet again a delay, right? A lull period between 20 and 35 minutes where they just cannot seem to know what to do. TSM take a Baron, the game is evened out, and you think, oh no, it's all TSM from here on out. Although they did have one shiny moment, that being 100 Thieves. It was Someday, of all people. He sneaks the Elder, that leads into a Baron. Elder plus Baron buff, 2 to 3 minute play period to do anything with that they possibly can, and yet again, 100 Thieves could not capitalize. Yes, they have Soligo into the roster as well. I think could be a possible improvement, but this late into the split, you give this guy 3 weeks maybe to try and improve this team. It seems like a hefty requirement of a guy in a first-time experience with this roster on the main stage. To me, the most underwhelming by far and away team is 100 Thieves because we just don't know what their problems truly are. I don't think Bang is doing a terrible job whatsoever. Still a great player. Same to Someday. That guy has been looking like one of the best top laners I've seen all split. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the entire surrounding foundation of that, and the fact that these guys have come out and said themselves they don't even know the entire issue. I think we can point out in terms of macro standpoint, yes, it's got to be mid to late game, but inside what that is, what are the actual micro problems? We can identify those. Only they can, and I wish them the best of luck in the future, but this is me saying I do not think 100 Thieves can make playoffs. And that's not a far-fetched statement to make. That's not me making a ballsy statement. They would likely have to win at least 3 of their last 4 games, probably all 4. At least 3 of their last 4 games. Certainly have a chance, but after what I've seen so far, I don't really see it. I have to look at strengths of schedule as well, but I think there's a lot of other teams out there that have better contention to actually make one of those final 6 spots. As always, my name is Jake. Hope you guys all enjoy LCS Week 7 breakdown. I'll be back here next week, week number 8, as we approach just a couple weeks left here of the LCS. Some crazy things hopefully will happen. I do hope for the best for every team out there. I don't really have too much bias. I hope every team has a chance to actually make it. I'm just leaving my opinion out there for you guys to comment on. As always, I'll see you guys back here next week. Until then, take care.